Hi and welcome back to the cottage. Today I'm going to show you around. It's been nearly 2 years since I've done a home tour video, and since that time we've made some changes, some updates here, and also this channel has gained quite a few subscribers, and so I thought it would be fun to take you around our home, show you all of the spaces, and explain how we live as a minimalist family of 7. Now this isn't going to be a super polished video. I'm not going to have a bunch of beauty shots or slow panned shots of our home, because sometimes I think those videos make it look like everything is totally perfect. This video is going to be much more casual. To be honest, I have about an hour to myself here at home, and so this just is the opportunity for me to walk around with you and just kind of show you room by room how we live in these spaces. So I hope that just shows you that this is very achievable for anyone that wants to try out minimalism. All right, let's get started on the tour. When you enter through the front door, you are basically right in our living room space. We did contemplate having a separate entry when we were designing our home, but we decided to include that square footage as part of the overall usable square footage of the living room. This is our puzzle table. Here in the winter times, we always have a puzzle going here, and so that's a nice addition. We move it from room to room depending on the season, so it's here right now. I think one of the best features about this room, this space, is the amount of natural light that it gets. We like to leave our windows uncovered so that we can let all of that beautiful daylight in. We very rarely have to have our lights on. You'll see a mix of different types of furniture throughout our home. We have some that have been passed down through generations and others that we've found at different thrift stores or the Habitat Restore. Here you can see kind of a view out of one of those windows to our property overlooking the pond there. And again, this isn't a very large room at all. It's just kind of a space where we can sit and hang out. We don't have a TV in this room at all. It's a calm and relaxing space, and as you can see, it's opened up to the dining room area. So it's basically one big room here. Our wood floors, my husband installed them. They are red oak, and our table is actually made from white oak trees that we had to cut down to make room for our home. So that's kind of a special thing. Right now, this table is sitting on top of a card table, a white folding table, but we do have plans to build a nice sturdy base for it soon. This light fixture, I get asked questions about it a lot. It is not something that we made ourselves. I purchased it online, but it's very unique and we love it. I like to decorate for the different seasons, and so right now we're in winter, and so I've got some pine cones and random things like that decorating our main living space. Looking back towards the kitchen, you can see these 2 antique cabinets that I found at an antique store, and then my husband refinished them. This one is mainly for just odds and ends, some little trinkets and things that the kids can play with, and the other is more of a curio style cabinet that we keep our glassware in, any special items that we want to keep dust free. And I love the wood grain on these built-ins. It's just really unique. Going into the kitchen now, you can see that it is just pretty wide open. We don't have upper cabinets, and I think that allows it to feel a lot more open and airy. I've done an entire kitchen tour video, and so if you want to see in every single drawer and cabinet here in the kitchen, I will have that video linked down below for you. That would just make this video way too long. I do get questions quite often about our kitchen sink, and this was in my husband's grandparents' farmhouse. We brought it here and we did some sort of epoxy job on it, but as you can see, it has not held up very well. This is after about 3.5 years of constant use, and so we will have to do some repairs on that. And in the other corner of the kitchen, that's where I like to keep my computer. Now that I'm homeschooling, it's really convenient to have the computer right there and accessible whenever I need it. And that little riser that it sits on is where I keep notepads and pencils and things that I might need to make lists and things like that. Then we have our little basket that holds the kids' water bottles. And here's a view looking back towards the living room and all of those windows. We only have one upper cabinet in the entire kitchen, and that is right here above the fridge. So that is basically everything in this main living area. Now we're going to go to the more private spaces of the home. We have this set of double French doors that again were taken from my husband's grandparents' farmhouse. And what we like them for is we can kind of close off this more private area of the main level, and it helps with soundproofing, it just helps with privacy a little bit, and we can make it a little bit quieter. So if one of our kids is playing the piano, for example, we won't hear that in the other rooms, or if someone's trying to take a nap in the bedroom, then that sound would be closed off a little bit. And here is our master bedroom. It is not a very large space at all. It's only about 10.5 by 11.5 feet wide. So this is a queen size bed, and that fits really nicely. This room is probably one that's had the most work done in it since we've moved in. And we just DIY'd that about a year ago, I suppose it was. We have 2 small closets in this room, no walk-in closets in our entire house. And a lot of people think that our closets in our bedroom are a his closet and a hers closet, but in actuality, this closet here is our broom closet. So we keep our vacuum cleaner in here, we keep our broom, there's a guitar case as you can see there, and then some winter coats and some extra bulky bedding that we bring out for company when they come to visit. So that's kind of a utility closet, I guess you could say. And then we have our dresser in between the 2 closets where my husband and I keep all of our folded clothes. I don't know that I've ever shown you in here, but here is how we have our shirts divided, kind of keeps them a little bit more organized that way, having them in the dividers. And then this is our shared closet. Both my husband and I keep all of our clothing, that's hanging clothing, here in this closet. I want to say this closet is only about 4 feet wide, if even that, and so we've really pared down our wardrobe quite a bit. Up here's where I keep all of my home decor that I rotate through. And then down below we have a few memory bins where we keep different memento items, and then some church shoes, I guess you could say, the nicer shoes that we only wear on a very rare basis, and then a backpack that I use to keep my camera gear. And here's a view of the bedroom from this angle. We each have a nice little nightstand where we keep our books that we're currently reading and any other items that we want to hold on to. And then we have our attached master bathroom, and this is a 3/4 bath, so it's got obviously a sink, toilet, and a shower. No bathtub, and that works well for us. We have high windows on that north side of the house, and so each of these rooms on this side have those square windows that are awning style. They open, they kind of flip up, and this is really great for privacy because they're up high, and then also it helps for ventilation. People ask if we keep all of our toiletries here in this bathroom, and we do. That's the drawer we keep them in. Very minimal items there. And then again, back into that hallway space where the piano is. We are not super great pianists here, but we like to have a piano around for our kids to tinker with, and sometimes we'll play a little bit here and there. But it's nice to have that around. We are musical in some ways. As you can see, we've got our musical instruments here on the wall. One of our sons in particular really enjoys the guitar, and then all 3 of our sons play the violin. And then the laundry room space is another area that we've made over somewhat recently. We had this shelf installed where we can dry some clothes there on that rod. And then this bank of cabinets here is sort of multi-purpose. I use it to house a lot of the homeschool materials that we use. We have our charging station there on the top with our printer, which is coming in really handy for us. And then we have our powder bathroom here right by the door from the garage, which is very handy. If the kids are outside playing, they can just pop right in here and use the bathroom and get right back outside without tracking through the entire house. There's another one of those tall windows up high. And this is another sink that we brought from the farmhouse, and this one is holding up much better than the kitchen sink because it doesn't get used quite as often. And this is the door here that leads out into our attached garage. So here's a view kind of looking back at that space. All right, now I'm going to take you upstairs. We have kind of a U-shaped stairwell, and one of our daughters has some mobility issues. Stairs are a little bit difficult for her, and so we wanted to make sure to not have an entire straight run of stairs. That would be really challenging for her, so we have these landings here where she can just take a little rest if she needs it. And eventually I'd like to do something nice on these landings, but I haven't gotten around to that yet. And when you get upstairs, you can see here we've got this central hallway space, we've got a pendant light hanging, and then we have our bathroom. That's that black door right there. On a barn door, that was kind of a unique situation that we put together. We had to think of some really interesting ways to lock this door because it is a barn door. But this is our upstairs bathroom. This is the only bathroom in the house that has a bathtub. But that is great for the kids to have up here. And then we have a round mirror, which I think is pretty fun for their bathroom. Under the sink, we have the laundry basket for this room. They keep that underneath the sink, and so that's really handy for them as well. And then back in this space is where we keep kids' books. And so this is pretty much our entire children's book collection. This shelf was from Carnegie Library, the Carnegie Library that was in our town before it got transferred and changed into some other type of building. And then we just have 2 bedrooms on either side, a girl's bedroom and a boy's bedroom. So we'll go into the boy's bedroom first. They have another one of those hanging pendant lights. And then right in this middle area is where they keep their shared dresser. To the left is our older son's kind of bedroom nook area, I guess you could say. It's not a separate bedroom, but it's his own little private space separated by a curtain, and he has his different motivational things hanging up on his wall. And we did a little bit of a remodel in here as well, so I have a video for that I can leave linked down below for you. But we like that he could put his own personal stamp kind of on this space and make it his own. And I just want to point out quickly this barnwood. It's just very pretty and a really nice accent for their bedroom. And these are the beds for our younger 2 boys. They're queen size beds and they are not off of the ground yet. Last time I did the video tour, I said that that was something we're going to be working on soon, and we still haven't gotten to it. That's the way that life tends to go sometimes, but we are hopeful that that will be a project that happens relatively soon. Each of the boys has a little light by their beds that they can use for reading at night, and a shelf space where they can keep some of their knickknacks and books that they're reading. So here's our youngest son's bed, and he has his own little collection of things. He's collecting hats right now, so he's got that, and some comic books, just some various odds and ends that he likes to have here. And here's a look back into that bedroom center space with the pendant light. And behind that door there is their closet. Although they don't have any clothes hanging in the closet, they decided to keep it more of as a little hangout space. They have supplies for a business that they run together, a football repair business. So here is out in the hallway again, that little book area. There's the bathroom, and then going into the girls' bedroom. They have the same vaulted ceiling built right into the trusses here with the pine boards that are painted. And right now their room is arranged a little bit differently than the last time I did a video tour. We rotated around a couple times a year, maybe 3 times a year. And right now in the winter, when they're inside a lot, we like to have a lot of space in the middle of the room for them to play in, because they do spend a lot of time playing in their bedrooms. These metal beds are something that my husband refinished. I have a video on that as well that I can leave linked down below. And here we have their stuffed animal collection. Not very minimal, but they do have some boundary limits set on them. As long as they can fit them on this shelf, they are allowed to keep them. This little organizer has been great because they have, again, those limits, those boundaries on what they can keep, and it helps keep things separated. They have a few art supplies up here because they, again, do some art projects. And here's a look back at the room from the other side. There's their dresser. This little table and chairs gets a lot of use, and we have, again, taught them the principle of keeping that horizontal surface clear when it's not in use so that they can use it to do puzzles or do art projects, play games, whatever they want. And so they have a good habit of keeping that clear when it's not being used. I love the patina on that table. My husband's not a huge fan, but I like having some things that aren't quite as polished and pretty looking, I guess. Kind of gives that vintage flair. They have a little dollhouse here, and then looking back at our daughter's bed, they don't have perfectly matching bedding, but it's pretty similar. They also have 2 closets in their bedroom. This one here is where they keep their clothes. And as you can see, they've done a little bit of decorating on the walls with their artwork, but they have their hanging clothes here, a couple of bulkier items, seasonal items up there, sock drawer, and then I also keep the Christmas decorations and the Christmas tree back behind that spot there. And then the other side is where our boys keep their clothes, and these are mainly clothes that they would wear for church or special occasions. So just a few hanging items. All 3 of them share these items. They're all about the same size besides their pants, and so we can keep their hanging clothes down pretty minimal. And then again, here's the dresser for the girls. They have their drawers pretty organized. I just recently went through and did a declutter of their drawers, and so they don't have a lot in them right now, but we are getting ready to change the seasons here pretty soon, and so I wanted to do a declutter and find out what items they might need more of. All right, now back on the main level, going down the stairs to the basement. Here's another landing space. It has this little ledge, which I think is kind of neat, just because of the way that the foundation worked out, and I do have big plans for this landing at some point in the hopeful near future. And then looking down to our basement, it's a walkout style basement, and so it does get a lot of natural light. It doesn't feel like a dungeon or anything like that. We just have a big open room down here. This is our family room, and this is where, if we're going to watch TV, this is where it's going to happen, right here at this big sectional couch. We also have a recliner, which is really comfy. I'll just show you outside a little bit of the view here. There's a squirrel running by, or a couple of squirrels running by. It does feel like spring is on the horizon here pretty soon, which is nice. Looking back at the room, you can see the stairs and the bathroom beyond there. And then we have this table space down in the basement as well, which is great for homework or if the kids want to do craft projects. They also use it quite often for playing with Lego toys, and so we've got this organizer here that has a whole bunch of Lego bins in it, and they can just grab what they want and play with it and then put the things away when they're done. And again, some art supplies. Our older son has some online college classes that he's working through, and so he sometimes has some of his books down here to do homework down here. This is where my husband keeps his coffee maker. I don't drink coffee, but he does, and since he works from home, down here in the basement, then it's really convenient for him to have the coffee maker down here as well. Another overall view of the space. It's not a super wide room, but it's very functional. It's laid out really well, and I think when you lay things out on paper and, you know, fine tune where you want furniture to be placed and things like that, it really comes together once you build. So that worked out good for us. We have a small 3/4 bathroom down here with, again, a shower, sink and toilet. So just a simple space so that no one has to go to a different level if they need to use a bathroom. We've got one on every level. And then this is our mechanical room, and for those of you who know us in person, this will be new for you as well. If you've been to our home recently, we just got done with this project, I think a couple weekends ago. Our middle son is very much into 3D printing, so I guess we aren't even quite done with this project. We have some more work to do, but we wanted to find a dedicated spot for him to use his 3D printer because he used to share with Craig's office and it was just too loud, and so we had to move him in this room, and he loves it. He loves having this little space. There's some of the football repair equipment. We've got a chest freezer down here, and then a little bit of like toiletry storage of overflow things like toilet paper. All right, and then going into the final area of our home, this space here is technically on paper for city codes and things like that. It is a 4th bedroom because it has an egress window and it has a closet, but we don't intend to use it that way unless we need to. We like to use it as more of a flex space, a fun space. We've got a ping pong table right now that is split in half so the kids can play ping pong against themselves against the wall. And then we have this nice closet that we use for games. There's a little indoor basketball hoop here that they can play with. And again, we have those barn doors that we can close off the room if we need to for sound purposes, but we leave them open most of the time. And the final space in our home is my husband's home office. When we first designed the house, he was not working from home, and so this was just going to be his man cave. We kind of had it planned for a couch and a big TV and things like that, but then when he started working from home, he refinished this desk and he did a lot of work in here to make it a cozy, comfy home office, and it's been working really well for him. He is a retired firefighter, and so a lot of the decor in this space is firefighter themed. He decided to keep his grandpa's old rocking chair. We had it recovered, and so that's kind of a special piece to him. And then we have another desk over there that I can use if I want to do some computer work, or if the kids have a homework assignment, they want some quiet space to work. And then we have a bookshelf where we keep the rest of the books in our home. So our kids' books are upstairs, and all of the rest of the books that we choose to keep are in this room. And that is where I'm going to end the tour. I hope that you enjoyed walking around with me today and that it gave you a little glimpse into how our large family of 7 lives in our home. Even though we are minimalists and we like to have things tidy and organized, we also are very comfortable here. I think that minimalism gets a bad reputation sometimes of homes that are very stark and boring and just really bland, not inspiring at all. I think our home is very warm, welcoming, and inviting, and it's definitely inspiring to us, and so I hope it is to you as well. If you like this tour, you want to know more about minimalism, simple living, or simple homes, that is the type of content I share every single week here on YouTube on Tuesday mornings. I would love to have you join the channel. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope that you'll stop by the cottage again really soon.